In a world far beyond our own, a great battle was being waged over a vast field of war. High above the fray, a mighty dragon soared, casting its great shadow over the battlefield below. Its scales gleamed in the sunlight as it surveyed the carnage unfolding before it. On one side of the field stood the men, their swords gleaming in the sunlight as they advanced towards the enemy lines. They were joined by archers, pikemen, and swordsmen, all marching in unison towards the enemy. The orcs, trolls, and goblins on the other side braced themselves for the onslaught. Suddenly, a bright light shone from the opposite end of the field. It was the wizards, casting their spells and unleashing their magical powers upon the enemy. The orcs and trolls roared in anger and frustration as they were pushed back by the sheer force of the wizards' magic. Amidst the chaos, the elven and dwarven armies joined the fray. They fought with a grace and precision that the orcs and trolls could never match. The elven archers fired their arrows with deadly accuracy, while the dwarven swordsmen charged headlong into the fray, their axes cleaving through enemy ranks. But amidst all the chaos and confusion, there was one figure that stood out above all others. It was the dragon, who now descended upon the battlefield, its jaws gaping wide as it breathed streams of searing flames upon the enemy lines. The orcs and trolls fled in terror at the sight of the dragon, but the men, elves, and dwarves stood firm. They had faced this dragon before, and they knew how to defeat it. The archers fired arrows at its eyes, while the swordsmen and pikemen charged in with their weapons raised high. As the battle raged on, it seemed as if victory would never come. The dragon was too powerful, and the orcs and trolls too numerous. But then, in a moment of pure courage and bravery, a young dwarf stepped forward, his eyes blazing with determination. He charged towards the dragon, his axe held high above his head. The dragon roared in anger, but the dwarf stood firm, his axe striking true against the dragon's scales. In that moment, the tide of the battle turned. The orcs and trolls fled in terror, and the dragon, wounded and bleeding, took to the skies and disappeared into the clouds. As the men, elves, and dwarves celebrated their hard-won victory, they knew that the battle had been won not just by their strength and courage, but by their unity and cooperation in the face of overwhelming odds. The field of war may have been a place of great violence and bloodshed, but it was also a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, and the power of cooperation and teamwork to achieve great things.